seen this in the news this week. I'm sure you have, because it's literally everywhere. But a few days ago, there was a family, I think, who went on holiday to Vegas, and they went to a shooting range, and the father decided to let his daughter have a go with a select fire UZI, well, micro UZI, which is about that big. It fires like a 9mm parabellum, which is like a pistol cartridge. And the instructor stood next to her, in a quite stupid way from my experience, because he was right next to her, and really she should be, if he's here, she should be here shooting. But either way, he hands her the gun, she fires a single shot, no real problem, quite a soft round, really, not much recoil. He then switches the selector, and immediately, she's holding the gun, and immediately, like that, the gun goes up like that, muzzle rise, which you'd expect, shoots him straight in the side of the head, dead. Pretty tragic, to be honest. I mean, you could say the bloke was obviously an idiot. Not necessarily that he got what he deserved, that's a bit harsh, but at the same time, if you spend your time giving 9-year-olds Uzis and just standing right next to them, let's be honest, you ain't going to live very long, are you? So he should have really known better. And there's lots of things to discuss perhaps in America about the way that they perhaps regulate training for instructors and the sorts of things that are allowed on a range. Obviously here we have very strict Home Office rules for the sorts of behaviour that you can get away with on a range. But frankly, it's none of our business, is it? It's none of my business, it's none of your business. We live in the UK. Select fire Uzis, or any kind of select fire firearm, has been completely illegal for anyone since before World War II. I mean, the only people who can get hold of a gun like that have a Section 7 licence, which means that they're basically an arms dealer. I mean, even the police and the army only have access to to Section 5 in the UK. The likes of you and me, it's Section 1 and 2. We don't get anything like that. I mean, sure, some people, I'm lucky, I'm a member of quite a good club, and, we do have AK-47s and AR-15s and things, but they're all straight pull, you can't just, keep pulling the trigger. You've got to rack the slide for each shot. So, the point is, why is this therefore all over the media? Why is it on the BBC specifically? I mean, sure, the Daily Mail can print what they like, they're a private company. But the BBC are supposed to be impartial. They're supposed to represent the people of this country. This is a country where, for the vast majority of people, the most powerful firearm they're likely to ever get hold of, is something like this. A basic side-by-side or over and under shotgun for clay shooting, for pest control, for other sporting purposes. What the hell are the BBC talking about select fire for? As if, it's something that's sort of has a significance to its audience. It's basically propaganda planting this seed into the minds of the casual observer who just skims across and sees a story, doesn't necessarily read all the facts, and immediately in their mind they're thinking, oh my god, people can get hold of select fire Uzis in the UK. That's the way people will perceive it. There was, and it's not even like this was just a casual story. I mean, if you look behind me, that's the original, well, I don't know if it's the original one, but that's a story off the BBC website. But I got up yesterday morning, and it was all over BBC Breakfast. And they're interviewing some guy who's a clay shooting instructor and asking him how, it's different here. Again, to the casual observer, the person who's just making a cup of tea, getting ready for work, and it's just on in the background, they're going to think, oh, bloody hell, this is relevant to me. Well, I'm sorry, guys, it's not relevant, but they don't know that. So what are the BBC doing? The BBC clearly have an anti-firearm agenda. They clearly just don't like shooting. I dare say they don't like hunting either. I dare say they don't really like anybody who lives in the countryside. I mean, you've only got to look at Countryfile, which is blatantly a townies country show made by townies for townies. I mean, if you look at it, it's not really relevant to the likes of you and me. I mean, we watch things like Field Sports Britain, don't we? Which is far more relevant because it's actual country people involved with country issues being addressed. The BBC aren't interested in that. They're interested in making sure that we have our rights taken away. And it's not just this, it's lots of things. It's the Arab Spring in Libya, when there's a BBC reporter stood there with rebels walking behind them, saying with a straight face, should we arm the rebels? Yet these rebels are blatantly walking along holding AR-15 assault rifles and Stinger missiles that might as well have like the American flag stamped on the side of them. It's so blatant that they've been given them by the CIA. And that reporter knew that. He knew that perfectly well, but he didn't say anything. And why? Well, because the government of the day wanted to give the impression that we hadn't done that yet, that they actually have to have a democratic mandate and a discussion in the Commons to decide if they do such things, and the BBC are continuing the status quo, rather than actual reporting, where you would think, oh great, this is a massive scoop, I'm going to get this before anyone else and tell the public how it is, which is what their duty is supposed to be. But instead, no, they just want to spread misinformation and make the public even more anti-gun than they already are, neglecting the fact that this is the UK, and like I said, this is literally the most powerful sort of gun the average person can get. And they will partake in necessary pest control and game management and sporting activities, you know, like clay shooting. And when you talk about clay shooting and you know, how practical shotgun, practical mini rifle, all of the sporting shooting that we do, it is literally the safest sport in the UK. Horse riding, football, many, many more injuries than from shooting. So why the anti-shooting agenda? And moreover, this isn't a private company doing this. I mean, if it was the Daily Mail or something like that, I suppose I could live with it. That's their prerogative, I suppose. But this isn't. This is the BBC. This is an organisation where if I don't buy a TV licence, they're going to come banging on my door making threats, trying to force me to give them money to pay for something that I neither use nor want nor approve of. You know, it's time they stopped this, and it's time that you guys stop watching it. Because this is misinformation, and it's propaganda, and it's wrong, and it's time it stopped. So anyway, again, a bit of a rant this week. Unfortunately, I'm going away for the weekend, so I thought I would just do another quick topic, as this had come up in the news. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'll put links in the description to the story and you know, everything you need to know. Let me know in the comments what you think, not just about the issue itself, where some idiotic father gets his kid to shoot someone by accident, well, gets them to, but obviously because of his actions she shot someone. There's that, and also the media and why this is being reported. Let me know what you think. Let's have a bit of a discussion, because it's time that really, you know, the BBC was shown for its true colours, and this is really, really out of order in my view. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. There'll be some more hoot hunting coming soon. Like and subscribe.